So my big wish for 2021 is, I love glitter. Let's do it. Let's chat. I think that's right. Could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Do you have a writing playlist? What songs would be on it for your new project? Huh? Hello, I hope you are all okay and all good. Welcome to another video. My name is George. For those of you who don't know, feel free to subscribe down below if you're not already. And this is just something that I thought about doing this morning. I've been wanting to do some makeup for a little while. I've not made a video in ages. Like, I've supposed to have been editing some, but I've not made a new video in ages, and thought, well, let's use this as an opportunity. Let's do some makeup, let's answer some questions, and let's just see what happens. So I posted a thing on Instagram this morning asking people to send some questions across, and you did, thank you very much. And I also asked what kind of look you wanted, whether you wanted a boy look or whether you wanted a drag look, and you all voted for a drag look. So I'd originally intended to just do a boy look, but then I asked. Because I asked, I need to give what I have promised, so now I need to do drag, and it's like 7:10, so I mean, I'm going to be doing makeup until like 10 o'clock probably. Such is life. But I've got my trusty iPad. This is new, by the way. This is the other thing. Like, I've just like kind of done and bought things and like had a life and not talked to you about any of it. This is the new iPad Air. I'm very much enjoying it so far. I've been doing some reading on it, which is really nice because I've not read digitally in a really, really long time. And I've really been enjoying reading on here. Also been enjoying gaming on here. But that's another story. But I've got my trusty iPad with all the questions on it. I have my new ring light, which is here behind you, which is why I look very, very well lit right now. And I've got my mirror here and my makeup on the floor. So let's get into it. So I have my trusty Elmer's purple glue, which we love. She's trying to be a beauty guru again. I'm just gonna put this all over my eyebrows while I answer the first question, which is big wish for 2021. So we're just gonna start right off with a bloody big question. So my big wish for 2021 is, I mean, for this virus to go away. I mean, that feels kind of like a big ask, but like that's kind of what I want. I miss my life. I miss being able to see people, and I miss being able to go and do drag in a place with people in it, instead of just kind of getting ready in my room, filming some TikToks, and then getting out of drag and going to bed. So when the lockdown ended, the first time around, I got to go to a drag show at the Apple Tree. I even got booked for a drag show, which was and got to perform, which was amazing. But the problem is I've had a taste of my old life, which obviously makes it all the more difficult to go back to what's happening right now. Oh, this is a lash separator from Real Techniques, and this really does the business on the old eyebrows. So yeah, my big wish for 2021 is for things to return to some kind of normal. Like, it's not going to be as it was, because it can't be, but for things to start getting better, and that means people being able to go back to their jobs, theatres being reopened, book events being able to happen again. I kind of want some of my old life back. I can't be the only one, can I? I'm just going to do the other eyebrow off camera and then we'll carry on. So while the old brows are drying, I've done a couple of layers and flattened it down. So the primer that I'm using at the moment is the MUA Pro Base Smooth Set and Prime Blur Stick, which, I mean, it rolls up and it rolls down. You just put it on your face. I'm going to colour correct my beard area because it's, I mean, I shaved this morning, but you can kind of see it there. So on the face we go. And my colour correct is the B colour corrector in Terracotta. I do believe this is Superdrug's like own brand thing. It's really good though. It's really done me well. So this. And this is like cancels out the blue tones in the beard. I think that's right. Could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. So I'm just going to do another layer of glue before I set this with powder. I feel like for me, brows are always the hardest bit. Like, it's so hard to get them right. But it's like really essential that I do. The powder that I'm using is an Old Faithful, which is the Revolution Translucent powder, which always seems to do the job. I'm gonna squirt it into this little pot that I have, which is like a new thing that I've started doing. And then I'm gonna pack that in and, you know, pray. And repeat. See? And it's like they're not even there anymore. So I have to wait for these to just like set. And they look like they might be okay. And then we can carry on with the face. I might do the bottom half of my face while I chat to you. Just because I'm not like pressed for time, but like, let's do it. Let's chat. So this is the Kroylan TV paint stick. If you watched my video where I did like a full drag face, this is like my go-to foundation. I realized I've not said what I'm actually doing. Said that I'm doing makeup and doing a drag face, but I'm gonna do what would be a standard That Girl, which is my drag name. I'm just gonna do a standard That Girl face. So you will have probably seen it in pictures if you follow me on Instagram at the George Lester or at That Girl Queen, which is my drag Instagram. But now you're gonna see me actually do it. So yes, this. And the next question is, how are you? And Jordan, obviously. So I start with Jordan. Jordan's good. It's kind of weird because Jordan is a key worker. So he's been working for the whole of the Corona times while I've been sort of like at home, which has been a little bit weird. I don't think it's been weird for him, because in a way, his life hasn't changed too much. He's still working, whereas I am like, well, trying to publish a book in a pandemic and also then just trying to like make money, which is hard. But I'm okay. Things are fine. They're a bit tough at the moment because the theatre industry is closed, but things are like happening, which is good. Like auditions are happening, so that's nice. And as far as book stuff goes, that's the tough bit. It's a lot of waiting. Publishing is known. Publishing is known for being quite slow. So it's just a lot of waiting. I'm okay. I'm surviving. I mean, honestly, whenever, like, I'm trying not to like get caught up in my sadness. And I always try and like remind myself of the good things that have happened this year, and that I mean, I'm in a pretty decent place, so like I can't really complain too much. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm okay is the short version of that. And depending on how I edit this, that might be all you get, because that, my friends, was a rambly answer. Bottom half of the face. I promise it doesn't quite look that different to my, actually no, it does look quite different to my skin tone. It is quite pale. Actually, another person has asked how I'm doing, and I'm honestly, I am okay. I think it's just like, life is just a struggle at the moment, because it's like, no one knows what's going to happen next. That something just fell off my wardrobe. No one knows what's going to happen next, and I think that's what makes it so hard. It's hard to plan for anything. So I'm okay, but it's like, it is what it is. So the eyebrows look pretty flat to me, so that is a blessing. We're going to cover these in foundation, which is kind of setting my entire face to just one colour. So let's do that. I need to get this hair out of my face. I got this during the last pandemic. It's just a running headband. And because this is when my hair just got like a few clicks too long. I mean, that doesn't look much better, to be honest, but you know, we're just going to get into it. When my hair got a bit too long and I was still running and it was just in my face, I like bought this off Amazon, I think. Or from Superdrug. It was one of the two. Anyway, let's set the whole face, shall we? See, so now my face and my neck are one colour. It looks a little bit weird. And I think I said this when I did the other video. There is another video where I answered questions and did like a full look based on my book cover, Boy Queen, which looks like that. I kind of said that there's the moment where you just look a bit weird. And I think this is kind of that moment. So I can't remember what I do next. So this is kind of a new step for me. Or should I finish the face first? No, let's carry on. So this is kind of a new step for me. I've been using the NYX Epic Ink Liner. Ooh. I've been using this to sort of like mark out where my eyeliner goes before I draw it on with my Maybelline gel eyeliner, which I did pick up and now I've put down somewhere and I don't know where it is. Before I do that, I mark it out with this pen. It's very, very useful actually. In fact, I like this so much that I have an unopened one on my shelf. That's how much I have enjoyed using this product. I just think it's really good. I've even used it when I've done boy faces. So yes, there is that. This is the Maybelline iStudio Lasting Drama Gel Eyeliner 24 Hour. It comes in a little pot like this. And this is the detailer brush from Real Techniques. And that's what I use to do my eyeliner, which is kind of big and kind of like, so let's do that, shall we? So the eyes are done. So we are going to, well, the eyeliner is done and we're going to move on to the rest of the eyes. I started using a NYX eyeshadow base in white, which really does, it really is the business. I really, really like it. So I just get some on a little brush. I don't know what kind of brush this is, but this is a brush that I got from Superdrug. And then I just kind of like trace where all my colors gonna go, and just kind of lay that down. And that gives me like white, like actual white to paint on top of, which means the colors really, really pop. I can't remember, I think I was talking to, her name is Sharon. She is a lovely, lovely, lovely lady who is very, very supportive to us fledgling drag queens. And like the palette I'm using today is a palette that she was using on the night, and she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that with that palette. And I was like, eyeshadow primer. It's honestly the best thing. And this one is just so great. I love it an awful lot. So yes, let's just get this on and then I will answer another question. Okay, so it sort of goes up, and what I do then is I put two colors. I do one color on the outside and then one color on the end, and it's going to be, I think, blue on the outside, and then I might do sort of silver on this middle one. I don't know how I'm going to do that exactly. Anyway, let's answer another question. If you had the chance to have dinner with anyone, who would you choose? I just want to have dinner with my friends again. Like, I miss my friends. Or actually, I'd like to have dinner out with Jordan again. Like, it feels like it's not been so long, but it feels like it's been so long since I've been able to do that. So yeah, it's very that's such a boring answer. It's not even a celebrity person. I just want to have dinner with my friends. Next is cream and jam or jam and cream. It's jam and then cream. I will not be taking any further questions at this time. The palette that we're using today is the Coronation palette from What a Drag. I love this palette so much. These colors are just everything. So that is the palette that I'm using today. It's a palette that I've used a few times now. I love it a lot. It's the colors in it are just, it has all the colors and the pigment is just, so that's what we're using. So let me just get, this is a little brush that I got from Superdrug. It is a Studio London brush, but I think it is like a Superdrug sort of own brand situation. So I'm going to go in there with this blue shade here, which is called Palace, and let's see what that does. Let's see if that's the shade we're looking for. So I'm going to start on the outside, and I'm just going to like press this onto the white, because the other thing is that you don't want to disturb your eyebrows, because your eyebrows have taken a bloody long time to lay flat, so you don't want to mess that up. So I'm just going to dab this along the outside. I don't worry if I go onto the black line, because if I go onto the black line I can just fill that in later with either black eyeshadow or just with the gel eyeliner again. It's going round the outside, round the outside, round the outside, leaving this kind of bit in the middle, because that bit in the middle is where the second shade will go. Okay, so I've put Palace, which is the blue, all over this top section here, and then in the middle bit of the eye I've put this silver, which is called Pearl, which is giving this lovely like iridescent which I'm really, really enjoying. I think I need to bring the blue a little bit further down on this side, just to like neaten that up and to even it up a little bit. But the eyes are almost done at this point, and this is the main bit that takes the longest for me, because also like I'll take my time with it, and normally I won't even do the lower half of my face first, and I'll just like have these giant eyes before I even got anything. So I'm just going to go in with my gel liner one more time and neaten that up. I don't know where I put that brush, it's somewhere around here. And neaten that up while I answer my next question, which is from Briar and her books, which is, do you have a writing playlist? What songs would be on it for your new project? So I don't often have a writing playlist. There will be songs that will remind me of particular scenes. Like I remember I had like I have a writing playlist that is usually instrumentals that kind of like create a vibe. And then there'll be particular songs that kind of inspire certain scenes. Like, so a long time ago, I wrote a scene that was inspired by a song called Dance With Me by Kelly Clarkson, and it sort of like gave me the vibe of what I was going for. As for my current project, I'm sort of between things at the moment, so I can't really answer that part of the question. I'm sort of between things that I'm working on at the moment, figuring out ideas and the kind of things that I want to be writing next. If you watch my writing vlogs, you know that I submitted something quite recently, so I'm sort of, I can't tell you anything, basically. Publishing is one of those things where you can't really tell anyone anything that's going on. When I have news, I will tell you, but usually I will have some kind of writing playlist that will give some kind of vibe as to what I'm writing, whether that be songs with words in them or will be instrumental tracks. I hope that somewhat answers your question. We're going to do the rest of the face next. So this is, again, a Kroylan TV Paint Stick in 070, which is a white, which I'll use for my highlights. So let's do that. We go under the eyes here, straight down the nose, up into this forehead, and then we blend. So when you've done that, the next thing to do is contour, and I will answer another question while I'm doing contour, which is, who is your hero? I've got a lot of different heroes in different like areas, so like literary heroes in terms of like books that inspire me. I love the work of Patrick Ness, Alice Oseman, David Levithan, David Nichols, Nina LaCour, Benjamin Alire Saenz. There's a lot. Adam Silvera, Becky Albertalli. There's a lot of authors that I really, really love, and that I really, really love the work of. In terms of theatrical heroes, you've got people like Aaron Tveit and Corey Cott. People whose like careers I admire and whose careers I really want. Derek Cleaner. Oh my god, Gavin Creel. Like so many. Yeah, it's sort of a weird question. Like, hero is a funny one. I don't know if they're heroes or if they're people whose careers I admire, or if they're just people whose careers I want. Yeah, hero is a funny one. Another question: who's your favorite god from the ancient Greeks? Oh gosh, I don't really know. I am someone who owns all of the Percy Jackson books without having read them. There was a time when I was going to do like a bookish weekender thing, and I have no idea how exactly I was going to achieve this, but my plan was to like read the whole of the Percy Jackson series and then in a different weekend read the whole of the Heroes of Olympus, because everyone says that I'd really enjoy them, and then I've just never like got around to reading them. But yeah, I don't really know how to answer that question. I'm really sorry. I'm terrible, and I don't know. She's a clown. The next question, this is a serious one, Christ. Does the income from writing a book and having it published match a full-time salary? The short answer to that for me is no. I have supplemented that income by doing freelance editorial work, by trying to get a job, but obviously the pandemic had other ideas of that. I was in a show which didn't pay huge amounts, but I was in a show when I was writing it, which also like kind of was part of that. I think that's very much a question that is very, very personal to a lot of different authors. Like authors earn different amounts, like that's just fact. I know that my advance for Boy Queen was very good for a debut. Well, not very good, it was good for a debut, but it wasn't like astronomical. For some people it is, for other people it's not. It completely depends on numerous factors, because Pam Macmillan also only bought one book, so it was just the one title. So the way that publishing works, God, I'm going to go into Electron Publishing. The way that publishing works is that your advance is split into 3. So if you get a 1-book deal, that advance is split into 3. If you get a 2-book deal, that advance is split into 6. But 2 of the payments are signature payments, so you get paid like twice. Your advance very much depends on how your publisher thinks the book will do, because your advance is an advance on royalties. So I don't get paid again until Boy Queen starts making royalties, or makes the money back that they gave me. So, I mean, that's a very long-winded way of talking about it, but that's very much how it is. Like, they pay what they think they can realistically make back, and then that's how it is. But then there's obvious exceptions to that rule. The books that go for stupid money because a lot of publishers are interested, and because a lot of publishers are interested, that drives the advance up. There's like a lot of different factors that come into it, really. But for me, the answer to that question is no. So, I mean, maybe it means that Boy Queen has a better chance of earning out and kind of making royalties, but it might not. It still might not, because then there's the marketing spend. The things that get huge advances often get huge marketing spends attached to them as well. So then that's a whole other thing. It's a great big conversation that happens that no one really talks about, which is weird, because it's just that people don't like talking about money, which I understand. It's uncomfortable, but sometimes you've got to talk about money in order to understand how the industry works. So for different people, an advance can be like a life-changing sum of money. For me, it was a good sum of money. It did not touch the fashion, change my life. Basically, I was looking for a quote-unquote real job in like January, February time. And then obviously the pandemic hit and no one was hiring. So it's very like, so that's kind of like also my acting career. So I'm doing like 2 different careers that don't pay hugely well, which is, you know, I don't know if that's really smart or really stupid. But yeah, it's, I was looking for a job in January, February. And like, I'm still sort of looking for one now because I don't have a new book deal yet. And so because I don't have a new book deal yet, I don't have my next like little bit of income coming in. Does that make sense? That was a long-winded answer. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to edit that together. Jesus Christ. The next question is a much kinder one, which is glitter or no glitter. The answer to glitter or no glitter is always glitter, I think. I love glitter. I just think it's... I think, for one thing, glitter hides a multitude of sins. So like if your makeup hasn't maybe gone as right as you want it to, there have been a couple of occasions where like I have like put some glitter on here or on the inner eye when it's not gone too well. I sometimes do that even if it has gone well, just because it looks nice. But like sometimes doing that, glitter hides a multitude of sins, so doing that can sometimes really help. But always glitter, and often the more's the better. When it comes to glitter, I'm of a mind that more is more, which might not be right, but it's right for me. Things that I've done while I've been talking. I have done my jawline with contour, and I put a highlight under this contour as well, and made it a bit uneven as it happens, now that I'm looking at it in there. Let's just take this up. And yeah, the next thing to do will be to set this with a powder. So I'm going to do that, and that gets messy, so I'm not going to do that on camera. Get into it. So the face is set with powder. So we are now going to use my trusty Chisel Cheeks contour kit to do my contour. And I will answer another question while I do the contour. I have powder all over my iPad. And I have two questions from Le Petit Prit, who has a lovely account and is very, very nice about me and my book. The first is fave eyeshadow palettes. So the first is actually the Morphe 35B, which I have just here. This was bought for me by my lovely friend Katie, Reynard, who got me this for my birthday. Not this year just gone, but the year up before that. And this was like first. I had Revolution palettes, and Revolution palettes are good. They're absolutely fine. They're a great starter palette. You have to work a bit hard to get the colour out of them, I think. Whereas this, pigment. It's a really great palette. The other one is the Coronation palette, which I absolutely adore. It's made by Wash Drag UK, which is an independent UK business. And they are incredible. I use their lashes. I use their brushes. I very much love them. So yeah, it would be those. And the other question from Le Petit Prit, I don't know if that's how you say it, but it looks like it's French or Français. So I'm speaking it like I'm Emily in Paris or something. So the next question is about the Leicesterverse. I did an IGTV with the lovely and immensely talented Alice Oseman. Was that with Alice Oseman that we coined the Leicesterverse? I don't know if it is. I think it was. It was in that I established that like the books that I am writing or have written or want to write are all set in the same universe. So there'll be characters or locations that will exist across books. I'm trying to think of an example of that doesn't give anything away. Okay, so for example, I mean, I don't have an example because I'm not writing any of these books right now, but like, so they'll be in a drama class, and that drama class will be being taken by Mrs. Hepburn, who is established in Boy Queen as the drama teacher at Robin's school. So it's one of those things that like, so wanky. It's very like, if you know, you know. Basically, I love things like that in books where like you're reading a book and you see someone from a different book from that same author, or so in Heartbreak Boys by Simon James Green, this is not a spoiler, this is just something that happens in the book that made me smile so much. There is a mention of one of the characters going to the library, and is in the library where they find a book that has a banana on the cover, which, for those of you who know, Noah Can't Even by Simon James Green has a banana on the cover. So I had a weird moment of hold the phone. So in this book, Simon's books exist, but Noah doesn't. It was just really fun for me. I really enjoyed that. And I love things like that in books. So that was really fun for me. And I love things like that in books. So I wanted to do something like that with the books that I write. About The Last of Us, can we please have billions of books? I would love to write more books. And believe me when I say I'm trying. So we'll just leave that one at that. Next one is favourite snack. This like varies from day to day. I love a savoury snack. I'm a big fan of like tortilla chips and salsa. That's always a big one for me. Another thing that I really love, I'm a big chocolate fan as well. Love eating me some chocolate. So yeah, chocolate. Cadbury Nibbles. Cadbury Nibbles are the tea for me. If you've never had Cadbury Nibbles before, well, you're missing out. I only have one more question, which is, did you want to do drag or be a writer first? Both valid paths. So this is an interesting one for a multitude of reasons. I wanted to be a writer first. Actually, that's not strictly true. I wanted to be an actor first, which I suppose sort of ties into the drag in a way. But I also wanted to be a writer when I was growing up. So I guess probably writer is the one that came first. So yeah, I wanted to be a writer first. Drag came about because I was doing my master's degree at Mount View in musical theatre, and I've told this story so many times, so like if you've already heard this story, you are more than welcome to skip through this part of the video. And it is on that course that we had to do a 45-minute creative project that was a 45-minute solo show, and my show was a drag show. I decided I wanted to do drag, and it was only through doing that and then through going and watching local drag queens that I was like, oh gosh, this is something I really, really want to do. So yeah, so I wanted to be a writer first. But the book Boy Queen came about because my editor Rachel got in touch because she saw I was doing drag and was like, I think this would be a really cool book. Well, she said, like, I want a book about a teenage boy who wants to be a drag queen and I think you should write it. So I did. And there we are. Yeah. So where are we now? I have done most of the old mug. I need to neaten this up and then do some lips. So I went with the black lip in the end. This is probably the neatest lip I've done in a while. I've not ever drawn them too much, and I say that, and actually I can just see a little bit more of on this side. But yeah, I just had to go with the black lip. So the next thing I need to do is finishing touches. Finishing touches will be tracing around the black liner to neaten that up, doing the under bit of my eye as well, and putting on some lashes. So I'm going to show you the products I'm going to use, and then I'm going to go off camera to do it. So what I've been using as a white liner recently is the NYX Epic Wear, which is so good. I was always rubbish at doing precision liner with a proper brush or like using a white cream. This works really well for me. And then lash wise, we have the Water Drag Femme Tops and Power Bottom lashes, which are just my favorite combination. So give me a minute and we'll be back with pretty much a full face done. And there we have it with some lashes. I've gone all the way around the eye on both sides with the white, put some white above my lip, and on the sides I put on a little bit of blush. And now the only thing left for me to do is to pop a wig on and an outfit. So let's do that. And here we have the finished look. Wig from Webster, dress from ASOS. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was a little bit weird, a little bit random. If you want me to do another one of these, feel free to let me know in the comments below. This lash is droopy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to put a thumb on it and subscribe down below if you want to see more. If you want to see more things like this, just let me know in the comments below. I would love to do a video like this where I show you how I do like a boy face. Like ones like this that I've done in the past and posted on Instagram and stuff. But yes, thank you so much for sending in questions. Thank you so much for voting on Instagram. If you want to come follow me on Instagram, it is at @TheGeorgeLester or at @ThatGirlQueen. I will leave them linked in the description box below. But that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of your faces, and I'll speak to you as soon as I possibly can. Bye! I mean, she is corseted. Oh!